Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Malibu 640 LERB GT Charmin. So located behind the sliding door on the driver's side is a black lever. This lever drops your grey waste, so this is any water that you've used and put down a plug hole, or any liquid you've put down a plug hole. Goes into a separate holding tank, and normally when you're driving off your site you would pass the motorhome service point and there'll be a grey waste disposal grid, and you'd simply just open and it'll drain off from underneath the vehicle. It's very important in the winter as well that you drain this down, as you wouldn't want this water to freeze, as it can crack the pipework and tanks and cause a lot of damage. And then located at the back of the driver's side is your freshwater filler. So you can open this with a habitation key, and then you'd put a hose pipe in there, wait until the lever overflows until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see from the main 12-volt control panel how much water is on board at any one time. But you'll have to carry a hose pipe with you and some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap on most sites. And then this is the habitation key that you can lock your freshwater filler cap with. At the back of the vehicle you've got your rear parking sensors, and then inside we've got some storage underneath, and you've got your gas locker. So this takes two 6-kilogram propane bottles. Once the bottles are on board, if you do use the two straps to strap the bottle in to make it secure when you're traveling, and then to connect the pigtail to the bottle, it's a left-hand thread, so no need for a gas spanner, and you just turn it on and off from the top of the bottle. Always make sure that you turn it off when you're traveling, and then when you're stationary you can turn the bottle on. Located underneath the bed in the rear corner here, away from the mattress, there's a little section there that pops out, and in here is your freshwater tank. So you filled it from out there. To empty it, it says there, open 3/4 of the way. So all it is, it's 2 turns to the right and then a few turns to the left to stop the water from draining. So it's just this lever here to turn, and you turn it to the right to drain the water off, and you'll hear the water as it hits the ground. Coming round to the passenger side of the vehicle, this is your vent for your Truma boiler. So this gives the location of where the boiler is situated on board the vehicle, so it's just underneath one of your back beds. And then you've got your mains connection point. So to hook the vehicle up, you'd lift the collar, lift the flap on the van, hook the vehicle up, then hook the sight, and then do it in reverse when you come to unhook the vehicle, as you would be walking around with a live lead if you did it the other way. Again, your habitation key opens your cassette locker, and then you push both the locks in and release, making sure that the toilet is in the correct position to get the cassette out, which I'll show you when I'm inside, and that the blade is closed. You'll be able to lift the handle, slide the cassette out free of the vehicle. You've got some wheels, so you can either carry it or you can wheel it to your waste disposal site, which is normally on your site. The point is beside the toilet block. Remove the cap, press the button, allows a bit of air in, stops it glugging, and tip the content of the cassette out. Then there's normally a tap there, so you put some water in via the spout, put the cap back on, give it a rinse, and then what you can do, if you're using the blue or the green liquid chemical, this is 120 ml, so a cap full straight into here. It's good to go back into the vehicle. If you are using the tablet form, which is in the sachets, what you can do is you can either put a pint of water in now, or you can put it in completely dry. Open the blade, flush a pint of water into the cassette, followed by 1 tablet of your choice, either the blue or the green. But you only need either 120 millilitres of liquid or 1 tablet each time you change the cassette. At the front here by the passenger door, you do have your diesel filler, which is a lockable cap, which you use the main fade key to access, And then because it's a new Euro 6D compliant engine, it does have the AdBlue. So on a Ducato it's 19 litres. You can either buy this on the pumps, which is a little bit cheaper like the HDVs do, or you can buy it in the drums, which is a little bit more expensive, but you may want to carry one with you. Simply when the light comes on, if you do top it up, this will stop the vehicle from going into limp mode or failing to start if the AdBlue goes completely dry. But you will get a warning on the dash when it needs AdBlue. Tyre pressure, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi front and back. Your engine battery's underneath this compartment here. Underneath the passenger seat, you've got your electric block unit. So this is your 12 volt unit. So it's got all your 12 volt fuses in. So it would be a good idea to carry some spare 12 volt fuses. And just in the corner here, it's got your main battery fuse, which is a 50 amp. And then some other fuses, which are to do with the leisure battery. Bonnet release on the side of the dashboard. And you've got a tyre inflation kit on this model. In the left hand corner underneath the driver's steering wheel, you do have your screen wash. This lifts off, you can fill your radiator coolant, your brake fluid, your oil. There's no dipstick on this, it's all electric through the dash. Paint code, which is 676 for the Campervolo. An earth for giving or receiving a jump start, as the battery is underneath the cab floor. And then behind the passenger headlight, if you put your key or a screwdriver in this cover, there's a little terminal here, which is your positive terminal for giving or receiving a jump start. Once on board the vehicle, if you lift the acrylic cover up above the habitation door, which will reveal your control panel and your Truma heating control panel. So this here is indicating that we are hooked up. We are on 230 mains. Your hookup lead is in the side of the vehicle. And to turn it on, you turn on there until you get the green light. If this wasn't on, you'd just be on 12 volt. As this is on, you will have household power on board. So 230 volts to power a kettle, a hairdryer, and your other bits and pieces. Above you've got your a music symbol. This is to power the head unit in the cab, so when you are parked up and you want to listen to the radio, instead of having the ignition on, you can have that on and it'll power the head unit in the dash. And then this side at the top, you've got your leisure battery reading. So that's the vehicle, that is the battery that the motorhome side of the vehicle will use. Below you've got your fresh water reading, so it's saying we've got 75% of fresh water on board and 25 of waste, which is below the fresh. And then the one of the vehicle battery at the front is your Peugeot battery, which is saying it's 12.12 volts, as it's a brand new vehicle, and that'll go up once you start putting some miles on the vehicle. And next to it you've got your Truma heating system. So to weight this up, press and hold until you get this screen, and then you can press the button, go into it. So the van with the thermometer in is the temperature of the van, so you can have 30 degrees max all the way down to off. So for this we'll say 20. Once you're happy with 20, just press the wheel once. That's preset your temperature to 20 degrees. Going further along, you've got the temperature in the water, which is the hot water, so you've got it on off. So if you've got no water on board, don't put the water on. You've got off. You've got eco, which will save a little bit of electricity or whatever source you're using. It will use a less powered source. You've got hot, or you've got boost. Boost prioritizes the water to the heating, so should you want to do your dishes or have a shower quicker, put it on boost and it'll heat the water up to temperature far quicker than it would if you had heating and hot water on together. So for this we'll just say hot, and then going along you've got a gas bottle and electricity marks there. This is the temperature. No, sorry, this is your source, the energy source you are using off. So this one here, so you've either got gas on its own, so if you're wild camping it and you weren't hooked up, you'd have to heat your water and vehicle off gas. You've got a mixture of 1 kilowatt in gas. You've got a mixture of 2 kilowatt and gas. You'd use this more if you were hooked up in the winter and it was cold. You'd put mix 2 on and it'd heat the water or the van up far quicker, and then you would turn it over to electric. You've got electric on 1 kilowatt, which you would use on a smaller CL site or abroad, but in this country, if you've paid your site fees and you don't mind waiting for the van or water to heat up, you just put it onto electric 2, and that would heat your van up and water up within about 25 minutes. Going along, you've got the fan, so you've got eco or high. So if you are wild camping, you put on eco because this uses a 12 volt fan, which obviously is using power from your leisure battery, and obviously you're not hooked up, so you don't want to drain it on having a fan. Or you've got high, which you can use when hooked up, and it'll blow the air around the vehicle. You've got your timer here, which you can time the heating to go on and off just once. So if you are getting up at 8 o'clock, you might want the heating to come on at 7 just to get the van nice and warm before you're getting up. Here you've got the clock, so this is the time displayed on the front clock, which is a screen. And if you do get a warning triangle in the middle, if you go down to reset, press and hold, you can reset the control panel and boiler to see if the heating will work should it have failed. To operate your Thetford fridge, which is a 12 volt compressor fridge, you've got a touch panel here. It's a flush panel, so you turn on and off. So you've turned it off there, press and hold, turn it back on. You can go up and down with the temperature, 5 being the coldest. So when you get your shopping in, you may want to just drop it down to 3 or 4 to stop the shopping from freezing. And then you've got the moon, which is the nighttime mode, which will lower the performance of the fridge, which will then lower the decibels so it's not as loud. Fridge with freezer compartment. Once you're finished with it and you're not using the van for any length of time, if you do, just take everything out, give it a wipe out, and then this little blue toggle on the hinge there, just rest that there. It'll stop the door from shutting fully on itself, and it will allow an air circulation in and out the fridge to stop mold growing in the fridge and freezer. In the kitchen area, you do have 2 gas burners, so 1, 2. Once you've used these, allow the hobs to cool before you put the glass lid down. You've got a chopping board on the back of your sink cover, and then as long as the pump's on, you will get a pressurized flow of water. And there you have a pressurized flow of water, and your water's getting lovely and warm there. Below you do have a cutlery drawer and the gas isolation tap for the hob. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. And then press the catch in, which will put the travel lock on. And you've got storage in the bottom too. Storage cupboards in both sides. And storage above. Locker above the kitchen area. So just with the lockers, make sure you're pushing the catch in behind before pulling the handle free. And at the back, you've got 2 single beds or a double bed across the vehicle. Lifting here, you can lift this section up, and you've got a wardrobe. So you've got a hanging rail, but you can access it from the front as well. And then the steps here are removable, so they would go here, but what you can do is you can lift them out, and you'll notice on here there's 2 little marks, so you've got to line the bottom of the step up here, and in there there'll be 2 bolts, wing nuts, which just attach to here. So if you were moving larger equipment, you can fold the beds up, take the steps out, and then have a larger item coming right through the van so that you can carry it. You've got tethering points so you can tie your heavy loads down or whatever you want and stop it rolling around in the back. And you'll notice you've got your awning winding handle if your vehicle is fitted with an awning, which this one is, which goes through into the wardrobe. Located underneath the bed on the passenger side of the vehicle is where your boiler is. So your boiler doesn't only just heat your water, heats the vehicle as well. But it heats 10 litres of water at any one time. So it's very important, especially in the winter, that you drain the water out of the boiler when not using it. So this is a Truma anti-frost valve control unit. So what this does is, at 3 degrees, it will drop it for frost damage. When the vehicle is in use, it won't drop it because the boiler will be warm, so it's not getting to 3 degrees. But when sitting parked in storage or on the drive, not in use, it will drop it out anyway. But make sure that this doesn't become faulty, so I would personally check it or do it before it gets to 3 degrees if you're going to pack it away for the winter. So what you need to do is, when the diamond is flat on the top and there's no little nib, this is closed, and there'll be a button on the bottom, little blue button on the bottom of the valve that needs to be closed as well. Turning it, you'll see the nib pop out. You'll see down there that there's a little blue button on the bottom of the valve popped out. This is the boiler open. Then what you would do is you'd drain your fresh water off. You'd open your wastewater, you'd open all the taps within the vehicle, and you'd remove your shower head from your shower hose to stop any water from coiling up in any pipes. And then when you come to reuse it, you'd shut your boiler. So turn, push the button in, shut the fresh water tank, shut the wastewater tank, assemble the shower head, shut all the taps within the vehicle. Get a hose pipe, fill the vehicle with water, come in, put the control panel on, and then go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll get an automatic pressurised flow of cold water as it's drawn it via the pump from the main tank. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises until you get a free flow of water from one tap. Then you would do them all. All it's doing when it's coughing and spluttering is pushing all the air out, and it's filling this tank. So it's pushing all the air out, 10 litres of air, and then it's transferring the water from the freshwater tank into the boiler of 10 litres until you get a pressurised flow. That's when you know that 10 litres is full in the boiler. Then what you would do is do all the other taps, and then if you want, you can test your hot water system. There's also a lever here, and this is just, you'd lift this up just to let any water in the lines out, so no water is sat in the plastic and rubber pipe work during the winter, where the vehicle can get cold and these can split and puncture and flood the vehicle. So remember, drain the boiler off because it's not covered under warranty, and lift this little toggle to stop any water from staining any pipes. If you were wanting to put larger items or your bikes inside the vehicle when travelling, you lift both beds up. In the cupboards you can find these straps, and they just clip on to these rings. This one keeps itself up, and then what you would do is, these bars are just there for when the bed's down, for bearing the weight equally across the furniture board. You just lift these out and these just slot back in. You've got storage in here, access to the top of the boiler for when it needs to be serviced or repaired, and the gas tap for the boiler. And then in here you do have your trips. So this is for mains electric, so if your kettle or hairdryer or anything trips the vehicle out, try here before you try your main site. And then all your other appliances run on 12 volt, which is underneath the passenger seat. So now in the washroom, so the toilet is a hideaway toilet, so it slides out the way to give you a bigger shower cubicle where the shower door would come round to protect the bathroom door, which can go like this, or if you want it as a changing room, there's a little extension on there so it blocks out the gap between the door and the kitchen, and then you can lock it in place here. So with the toilet, little lever here, and then there's a little black pedal on the ball of the toilet. So lift it and slide down at the same time, and you can slide it out into situ. So A is it tucked away, B is it in the position to get the cassette out the back of the van, and C is in the use position, and it tells you here on the top all the different configurations you can have the toilet in for doing various different things, such as emptying it and using it. I've got this little clip here, so when showering you would put this panel down, and any water, when the toilet is stored away, it deflects any water from sitting on the toilet and getting wet in the back. It pushes it all forward into the shower tray. And then to use the toilet, just down here, this is your toilet flush button. So ensuring the pump's on, what you do is you'll be able to press the blue button, which will flush the toilet. As you can see there, it's flushing it. So always flush before use. It helps keep the blade top clean, and it lubricates the seal on the blade. And then the blade handle to open it is this grey handle here. So you need to slide it away from you to the right. You would then use the toilet with the blade open, flush after use, and then slide this back to the left to close the blade, isolates the cassette, and then in the closed position you'll be able to get the cassette out the side of the van. If it was to be open, you'll not be able to get the cassette out. So remember, if you're struggling to get it out, it's probably because you've got the blade open. You'll get some lights on here underneath the cassette diagram to indicate that the cassette is full and needs changed. You've got a toilet roll holder, and then your vent for your heating, toiletry cabinet, your lights, and a 240 volt socket. This is disabled in the UK market because you can't have 240 in a washroom, whereas in Europe and Germany there's different laws with the electric near the water. So we will isolate that plug, so if you're trying to plug into it and it's not working, that's the reason why. And then you can slide the cassette back away. Always remember to remove your shower head from your hose when winterizing, like I've said, when doing the boiler, and leave the mixer tap open, because you can see any water can coil in here. Lie that down in the tray and any water will drain out there. You've got a blackout blind and a fly screen on the small skylight. Push the button in, you'll be able to open it and close it. But remember, make sure it's closed like all the other skylights before travelling. In the front of the vehicle you've got your half dinette, so you've got another 2 travelling seats, so you can sleep 2 on this vehicle but travel 4. You've got large storage in here and a little waste bin. Storage underneath the false floor, so you can raise the clips, lift it up, and you've got some storage. Table extension, so you'll pull this down and spin this out, and then when the 2 front seats are turned round, which all you do is pull this clip, but what you'll need to do is pull the seat forward first. pull the seat forward first, and then you'll be able to spin it round, and then you can use 2 extra carb seats around the table. Storage up above. Got 2 speakers off the radio in the cab for people in the back, or when you're sighted you might want your radio on a morning. And then above you've got a skylight which just winds, so you can wind it open and wind it closed. With a fly screen and a blackout blind, clip the middle to depart the 2 blinds. So now in the cab, which is based on a Series 8, which is the brand new Ducato on the market, you've got the handbrake to the right, electric driver and passenger windows, and then the electric mirror adjustment, so you can choose 2 mirrors on each side, one being the blind spot, the bottom one, the other one being the big normal mirror. Reverse car blinds fitted to the sides and the windscreen, so driver and passenger is very much the same, so you'd pinch and slide along, and then you'd pinch the windscreen one, slide that one into the middle, and it's just on a magnetic strip. To the right of the driver you do have your headlight adjustment, your rear fog lights, and you can turn your stop start off, but your stop start will only work under certain factors. If you've got such as your aircon on, or your battery, or your vehicle's been stood up for a little while and the battery's not charged fully, the stop start won't work until it's charged. You've got your wipers and your lights and your indicators. All the trip computer is on the left hand side with these here, so you've got, starting off with your instant info, so you've got your range and your current fuel use, which is obviously when you're driving it'll give you an instant consumption. You've got your average fuel use, you've got your AdBlue level, so once this gets low it'll put an AdBlue light on, and that's when you will top up with 19 litres of AdBlue, or how much it takes, but it is a 19 litre tank. You've got any alerts, so again, any doors open, any engine lights, any AdBlue lights will come up on here. Vehicle setup, you can press OK and you can go through the display units, change your time and date, the security, so it'll lock, you can passenger airbag, speed beep if you go over, the volume of the speed beep. You've got your lights, so you've got courtesy lights on this one, so what you can do is you can set them to either 0, 60, 0, 30, 60 or 90 seconds. So if you're parking at home it'll leave the headlights on a timer for either 30, 60 or 90 seconds, so you can safely get in to the house. And then you can lock your doors, so you can have an auto door locking function, so once it gets over a certain speed it will lock the doors. But that's all in there. You've got your hands free and your voice command, and then you have got your cruise control, which will come up cruise ready, and you can set that, cancel it without touching the brake, or you can use the brake and then you can resume it to the last speed set. And you've got your limiter, so it'll say speed limiter ready, and it'll have lim at the bottom, and you can go up and down here and set your speed limiter. This one is a automatic, so it's on the 9-speed automatic gearbox, so pushing the button in you can go from park to reverse, which will bring on the sensors on this one. The head unit is ready to take a camera, but it depends whether you've opted a camera when the vehicle was built. Neutral, drive, or you can go into manual and you go up and down the gears. Drive modes, it'll go through eco, normal and power. Eco will save a little bit of fuel. Normal, I would just leave it in normal if I was you, or power, it'll hold the gear longer and give it a bit more revs. Coming down here, you've got your heated mirrors, hazards, locks the doors, traction control, and hill descent control. So hill descent control, so it'll come up gravity control connected. It's basically all it is hill descent control. So if you're going down a steep hill and you're on your brakes all the time, this will kind of put an engine brake on as well. So you've got your climate control this side, so hot and cold does your temperature, this does your fan speed. You've got your aircon, you've got off if you don't want it on completely. You've got your recirculation, and then you've got wherever you want to have it to your feet, you want it to the screen, you just want it to the screen, or you want it to your face as well. So this is your distribution. You've got your max aircon, so it'll put the, basically what the max aircon will do is put max fan speed on and the aircon together, and you've got max demist or you've got auto, and it'll just set itself. USB and USB-C, 12 volt, you've got cup holders there, you've got a glove box on the top which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning unit, and another one here. And then this is fitted with the brand new Pioneer head unit, which looks very good. The size of it's brilliant. You've got these down the side which are your shortcuts. So top one goes to the home screen, and you've got your radio, FM, AM, or you can go back and you can go to DAB. You can press 1 to 6 to save your favourite DAB channels or radio channels on FM as well. Pressing the tile at the bottom on the right hand side, you can go to your station list. So you can update the station list. By pressing update station, it'll run a search. And then you go to station list and you can find all your stations. Press the one you want and then press 1 to 6 to save it. Bluetooth, so to connect your phone, press Bluetooth, press the phone down here, no devices, settings, connection, search, and it'll find as many devices that's near it. Make sure you're pressing yours. So what you want to do is go on your phone at the same time, go into your settings, and you're looking for this model number here to connect to. Press pair on your phone, pair on here, and then it'll ask you if you want to download your phone book. Just press allow and you can download your phone book, and then all your contacts, you can scroll through them and ring who you need to. You've got USB connection. You've got 2 USBs in the top glove box, so 1 and 2, they'll come up. You've got sat nav. You can press, it'll tell you which road you're on. Press down here in the bottom right, go to new route, go to address, and put your postcode in the middle where it says Newcastle upon Tyne. So you'd input your postcode, then ask you to select it. It'll give you an overview. Select as destination, set as destination, and it'll start its route guidance to that destination. You've got a shortcut for your phone there. And then you've got the volume and the voice command on this side. This is your volume here. So you can go up and down with the volume, turn it on and off. And then should you opt to get your Malibu with a rear view camera, this one's just got parking sensors, or you ever fit one in the future, as this is ready to take a camera, this little button here will turn on the rear view camera when going forward, if that is fitted with that option.